February 2024, lava surges toward a tiny Icelandic town, threatening to erase thousands of homes and its lifeblood power plant. The government rushes in a 105-ton steel giant, a Caterpillar D11 bulldozer, imported under emergency law in just days. But could a machine really stop a river of molten rock? The gamble that followed would decide the fate of an entire community and reveal just how far humans will go when survival is measured in hours. Here's how it all began. Steel, oil, and horsepower. When Iceland needed a weapon against lava, the answer was pure mechanical might. The Caterpillar D11 bulldozer weighs over 105 metric tons, a mass equal to a fully loaded Boeing 737. Its engine roars with 850 horsepower, enough force to rip through frozen ground or shove a wall of rock in the path of molten fire. The blade alone can push 34 cubic meters of earth in one pass. That is the volume of an average backyard swimming pool, moved in seconds. Every system on the D11 is built for extremes. It has a turbocharged 32-liter diesel engine, hydraulics capable of lifting the blade through volcanic rubble, and a cooling system designed to shrug off heat that would fry lesser machines. Tracks nearly 3 meters wide spread its weight so it will not sink into soft ground, even as the earth shakes beneath it. Fuel tanks hold nearly 2,000 liters, keeping the engine running through long shifts. This is not just a bulldozer, it is a fortress on tracks, engineered for the world's toughest jobs, mining, quarrying, and now holding back a river of lava. When seconds matter and the ground is burning, the D11's raw power turns engineering theory into a wall between survival and destruction. With lava threatening the town, Iceland's emergency laws kicked into gear. Bureaucracy vanished overnight. The construction company East secured a legal waiver to import the Caterpillar D11 from Norway, bypassing every routine check and customs hurdle. Disassembled into 3 massive pieces, the bulldozer crossed the North Atlantic on a heavy-lift ship, its arrival timed to the hour as eruptions raged just miles away. Within days, police escorts rushed the convoy from Reykjavik's docks to the edge of Grindavik, headlights slicing through volcanic haze. Engineers wasted no time. While mechanics reassembled the D11 on site, planners pored over fresh satellite data and lava flow models. Their first move was to align a defensive berm stretching for kilometers, angled to steer molten rock away from the power plant and the town. Maps pinned to the walls of the command center showed a grid of possible barrier lines, each calculated to buy precious hours if the lava changed course. The strategy was simple in theory: build high, build fast, and never let the flow cut off escape routes. Every hour shaved from the import and assembly process meant one more family's home could be spared. The urgency echoed in every decision, from the shipping manifest to the first cut of the D11's blade into Icelandic soil. Grindavik's future hinged on more than just its streets and homes. Less than 2 kilometers from the lava's edge stood the Svartsengi power plant, the beating heart of the entire peninsula. This single facility supplies heat and hot water to over 21,000 homes, almost a tenth of Iceland's population. If the plant failed, thousands would face winter without heat, schools and hospitals would go cold, and the region's economy would grind to a halt. The Blue Lagoon, Iceland's most famous geothermal spa, also depended on the plant's delicate network of pipes and pumps. Its closure would ripple through the tourism industry, costing millions in lost revenue and jobs. Protecting these assets called for a workforce as relentless as the volcano itself. Around 300 workers, many with families in the danger zone, put their lives on hold to keep the barriers growing. They worked in shifts, day and night, braving toxic gases and trembling ground. Every meter of berm built was a line drawn between survival and disaster, not just for Grindavik, but for every home, business, and tourist drawn to this corner of Iceland. The cost of inaction was unthinkable. So the crews kept digging, pushing, and hauling, knowing the safety of an entire region depended on their hands. Einar had spent decades behind the controls of heavy machines, but nothing in his career matched the pressure of defending Grindavik. As the veteran bulldozer operator and project leader, he carried the weight of every decision, each shift, each order, and every risk taken by the workers under his command. On January 10th, the ground proved just how unforgiving it could be. A crew member compacting fill over a deep fissure vanished when the earth suddenly gave way. Rescue teams searched for days, but the worker was never found. The loss cut through the team, a painful reminder that the threat was not only from fire and lava, but also from the land itself. Einar felt the responsibility acutely. He insisted on safety first, telling his crew that machines could be replaced, but people could not. The memory of that day stayed with him, shaping every call he made as the crisis deepened. In the shadow of the volcano, leadership became a test of both skill and heart. The work never stopped. Not for darkness, not for exhaustion, not for the shifting moods of the volcano. Crews rebuilt the main access road 4 separate times. Each effort was erased by a new surge of molten rock or by a sudden collapse of the ground. Freshly laid gravel vanished beneath glowing cracks, forcing operators back to square one. Bulldozers and trucks lined up in relays, dumping load after load, only to watch the path disappear again as lava pressed closer, or the earth buckled under its own weight. Every rebuild meant lost hours and more risk, but there was no alternative. The barriers had to grow, and the machines had to keep moving. Operators swapped shifts in the cabs, hands raw from vibration, eyes stinging from volcanic dust. Radio chatter crackled with updates. Another section was lost. Start again. The relentless cycle of building, losing, and rebuilding pushed everyone to the edge. Still, under Einar's direction, the crew pressed on, knowing each hour of progress could mean the difference between safety and disaster. February 8, 2024. Seismic monitors at the Grindavik defense site began to spike. The Earth's low rumble grew into sharp, relentless tremors, rattling the cabs of every machine. Operators glanced at their dashboards, watching the digital readouts climb higher than anything recorded since the first eruption. Outside, cracks snaked across the blackened ground, widening with each jolt. Steam hissed from fresh vents, carrying the unmistakable smell of sulfur. Along the barrier line, workers tightened their helmets and scanned the horizon, eyes darting from the vibrating soil to the distant red glow. Radio chatter picked up, a warning about new fissures opening less than 1 kilometer away. The tension was palpable in every movement. Crew leaders barked orders to keep engines running and escape routes clear, their voices clipped and urgent. No one needed reminding what was at stake. The instruments left no doubt. Something was building beneath their feet, and the margin for error was vanishing by the minute. Lava surged across the plain, closing the gap between molten rock and heavy steel in seconds. Einar's voice cut through the radio. Every operator, full throttle uphill now. The ground trembled as the D-11 and its smaller companions clawed for higher ground, treads biting into scorched earth. Steam blasted from fissures just meters behind, the air shimmering with heat so intense it warped the metal handrails. Operators watched digital gauges spike, alarms blaring as the temperature outside the cab soared. For a moment, the path ahead narrowed to a single escape route. One misstep would mean a machine worth millions lost to the fire. The crew pushed on, engines screaming, tracks spitting gravel and dust. Lava licked at the rear of the convoy, close enough to leave scorch marks on the lower panels. Einar's commands never wavered. He kept his team moving, refusing to leave anyone behind, counting each machine as it crested the ridge. When the last dozer cleared the rise, the flow swallowed the ground they had just crossed. No one spoke. The only sound was the engine's idle and the crackle of cooling metal, a silent tally of what almost was not saved. As eruptions on the Reykjanes Peninsula intensify, Iceland invests millions more in defenses, knowing new lava flows may strike at any time. Here, survival means adapting faster than disaster. In a world facing rising natural threats, the real test isn't strength, it's how quickly we choose to act.